It's the Aspiring Actors Guide to New York.
Yeah. Taxi?
What is up, party people? Welcome back to another Aspiring Actors Guide. I know, it's been a while. I'm sorry about that. I've been busy with the Rock of Ages tour vlog, but now that that's over, I'm coming at you live from Indianapolis with another episode of Aspiring Actors Guide. So here we go. We're gonna do a little Q&A time because over the past several months, some questions have accumulated that I have not addressed. Let's go. Virginia Jurassic asks, I think in regards to one of the early Rock of Ages tour vlogs, there's a wrecking ball. Do you come in on it? No, Virginia, but I wish I did. Broadway Babe asks, would you consider making a video about the audition process for a touring show? I think I already addressed this comment in another video, but I'm gonna go a little more into it. Auditioning for a tour is really like auditioning for any other show in New York. You're gonna start off by going to an open call or an appointment, and then hopefully you'll get a callback. Casting is going to bring you in for the creative team, and then you do essentially the same callback that you did with casting, but with the creative team. You get some feedback, maybe go to another callback where maybe you do some dancing, and then maybe you do a final round of callbacks where you're gonna be like doing a work session with somebody you might be playing opposite of. Auditioning for a tour is just like auditioning for anything else. You just go have fun in the audition room and hopefully that translates into you getting a job. Little Tilly asks, do you reply to comments? Yes, Little Tilly, I do. Sometimes it takes me a long time, but I'll reply to the comments. Cool. Charlie Capanos asks, could you make a video about how you approach the roles you played in the show? Script analysis, character development wise. That would be awesome. This process was interesting for me because first and foremost, I had to pay most attention to positioning of all the different roles I covered. Obviously, I couldn't do that all at once. I started off making sure I was knowing all my stuff and then knowing as much as I could of the other tracks, but focusing on my own track. And charting everybody's positioning. To make sure that I was ready to go on at a moment's notice, I used 3 very helpful tools at my disposal. 1, I had a video of our first preview that I could reference anytime I had to go on, and got an updated version of that once we opened because we got a video of opening night as well. So I could reference that video and double check positioning and entrances and exits and timing based on that video. 2, I use an app called StageRight, which is on the iPad. You can also use it on your computer. It's a lot more user-friendly on iPad. But essentially, with StageRight, you create an overhead view of the stage and can plot everybody's positioning on the stage using that overhead view. It is very helpful. I highly recommend it. I think it's $10 a month. Probably one of the coolest apps in the world for somebody who is either stage managing or swinging in a show. It is super helpful, and I highly recommend it. Finally, I created a spreadsheet tracking everything that everybody did that I covered in the show. Every entrance and exit, every prop and set piece they handled, every costume change, choreography shortcuts for the choreography that would change or that was specific to that track. I also wrote up a summarized version of every spreadsheet on note cards that I could have with me on stage so that I could really quickly reference when I ran off stage, hey, what's my next entrance and exit if I ever went up. I was never really at a complete loss of what I did next, but it was nice to have a little safety blanket just in case I might forget something. As far as character work is concerned, whenever you're swinging for a track that you don't usually cover, you're not going to be able to give a cookie cutter version of what they're doing and still be authentic. Yes, you do still need to be in the right positioning at all times because there are lighting cues and there are cues based on what you do, and there are some lines that you should deliver exactly the same because there are sound cues based on the timing of that line. But while I didn't want to give a cookie cutter version of Lonnie, for example, I did want to make sure that I was maintaining the director's vision of the show. So one way to do that is pay attention in rehearsals for all the notes. Not just the notes that are given to you, but also every note that's given for any track that you cover. Try to bring that character work into your portrayal of that character. I was also very fortunate to work with a team of actors who were very forthcoming in the direction that they received. I could ask them questions, and they would give me sit down with me and give me feedback on what the director had told them to motivate their character. Now, if you're ever in a situation where you might not be working with the team that necessarily wants to be that forthcoming, they may have the fear that you're going to take their role, maybe you shouldn't be having direct conversations with those actors. Technically, it's not their job to teach you the role. If you have questions about character work, I would recommend getting in touch with your director and seeing if they'll sit down with you or just have a quick chat with you about what they specifically want from the character so that you can try to harness that vision in your approach. Even if they don't have time to actually sit down with you, they'll appreciate that you took the time out, and they'll probably be able to give you a little bit of insight for what you need. Now, if you've never actually fleshed out a character, I'm going to link to a character sheet in the doobly-doo down below. It kind of covers all your bases for no matter how you approach acting. And will give you a little insight into different schools of acting. So I guess the long and short of it is, if you've ever been in the ensemble of a show, swinging a show is a lot like being in the ensemble. It's just a lot bigger. It's a bigger version of being in the ensemble of a show and doing a bunch of different things. That was a really long-winded answer. I hope that was helpful, Charlie. Fat Squirrel writes, thanks for the video. I'm going to go to these locations over the weekend in order to try to be an actor. Will they accept me if I'm a 4'10" guy in my 40s? I guess it's worth a shot. Fat Squirrel, what I love about the theater community is that it's probably one of the most accepting communities in the world. If you are a talented individual who brings a unique energy to the table, there's always a place for you. Does that mean you're going to be able to book Broadway with no resume and no experience in theater? Absolutely not. You could potentially be one of the rare people who does do that. But if you spend the time honing your craft, taking the necessary classes, improv classes, dance classes, acting classes, doing stuff at the Growing Studio, take your craft seriously, there's no reason you shouldn't work based on your appearance. Take the time to find out what you're really good at, what you have to offer, and if you do a good job conveying what you have to offer to the people you're auditioning for, there will always be a place for you in theater. Find your niche, lean into that niche, and you'll always find work. Now, it also helps if you're an incredibly pleasant and professional person to work with, because after you've worked a little bit, word will get around, and you may find that the work finds you sometimes, and that's a great place to be. Go too far the other way where you're not incredibly pleasant and you're kind of a diva, then the work may dry up. So just something to keep in mind as somebody who is new to the industry. I don't know that you're new to the industry. I'm inferring that based on the way the question was phrased. You may be very well versed, or you may just be a dude making a joke. I don't know. Virginia Jurassic asks, what are you buying me with your winnings in regards to like $100 that I won at the casino when we played like Hard Rock Casino or something like that? And the answer is all the pretty things. I'm buying you all the pretty things, Ginny. For the record, Virginia Jurassic is my wife. So, those are all the questions that I have for today. I'm going to be back in New York in about 2 months. Right now, I am in Indianapolis doing the Buddy Holly story at Beef and Boards Dinner Theater until August 18th. Back to New York on September 1st, probably. Until then, I'm going to be uploading to this playlist about every other week, trying to address any of the questions and concerns all you aspiring actors out there might have. So if you're mopping what I'm spilling and enjoying this sweet, sweet content, do me a favor and like and subscribe, and then you'll see when all the other videos are coming up. So with that, thanks so much for coming out, chase your dreams, and cheers.